So I'll take it nobody is actually surprised that I decided to make a video about Wicked. I'm personally not. This production holds a very special place in my heart, as it's because of the tour of Wicked that was in Toronto in 2018 that I got into doing technical theatre as a job. I was taking some time away from school when the tour came into Toronto, and I was able to get me and my mom a pair of tickets to go. I was so enamored with the technical aspect of this show that I asked the sound technician at the end how one might get into doing this as a job, instead of just occasionally doing it for fun or doing it through school. They pointed me in the direction of going for it for college, and because of that, I'm a technician here now. So for that, I'm excited about this movie. What better way for me to show my appreciation for it than breaking down some of the differences in technical design that they decided to go with, especially for the effects. I am going to point out that I am recording this and writing this out at the beginning of November, and as such, I only have the trailers and behind the scenes videos to use as context. But we do see enough for certain scenes that I think I can give a solid breakdown on what they're doing and what they're changing. And remember, change isn't bad. First scene that comes to mind for me is right at the beginning of the show, where they're all arriving at Shiz University, and Elphaba and Nessa Rose are about to be separated. Elphaba uses her magic on Nessa Rose's wheelchair. In the show, the chair spins around through a powered wheel in the back in a few circles. Whereas, comparison, they actually tether the chair and fly it up into the air. This is much easier to do on a soundstage, as they can have multiple cables attached to the chair for balance, whereas you don't always have the ability to do that on stage. Most actors, when they're flying, are tethered with only 2 cables. A chair would likely need one at least in every corner. I personally love that they actually chose to fly the chair instead of just CGIing it in. Those of us who are using mobility aids don't tend to get to do the fun stunts like that. Moving on to the next big scene that we do have some solid footage of, Dancing Through Life. This is my favorite song in the entire show. And whereas on the stage they have it out in the courtyard of Shiz University, this time they've chosen to do it mostly in the library. On stage, they're able to dance around in all the open space in the courtyard that would provide all the fun tricks for the scenes in this particular part of the show. Whereas the film is able to have all these big moving set pieces that the characters can hold onto and rotate around. This gives the movie the ability to change up the choreography without losing the fun that is that song. We haven't seen enough of the lighter half of Dancing Through Life to make comments about differences there, but it doesn't look like it's strayed too far off from the actual dance that they have in the show. Jumping back to the beginning of the movie, I love this version of Galinda's bubble. In the original Wizard of Oz movie, it truly was just a bubble. In the Wicked musical, the bubble becomes a lift that keeps the same circular shape, but takes more of a gear-looking aesthetic, defending with the rest of the show that has very much so a steampunk aesthetic. The movie adaptation takes this and then takes the two and kind of merges them together. It becomes a bubble on top, being this beautifully luxurious and mechanical carriage that she stays on. Popular. It's gonna be popular. This song, I think, is the best improvement that we've seen technically between the two. The movie seemed to have allowed itself to use its ability to edit for good as we get into see the jumps around as Galinda takes Elphaba for the makeover and gives it to her. In the stage show, I do love that we get this in their dorm, and you can see the very stark difference between these two characters. So between What Is This Feeling and Popular, you can quite literally see the overpowering nature that is Galinda's personality, with all the pink in the room that does seem to relax by the time Popular comes in. Can I just say though, I love how all the trunks pop apart to show their contents. It's giving Broadway and I love it. On to the wizard's head, like the floating head. That incredible looking wizard head, I think, is one of my favorite adaptations we have seen so far from stage to movie. Both of them are puppets. Both of them are real. Both of them have the same aesthetic. One on stage definitely is more bulky and meant to be a reflection of everybody who plays the wizard, whereas the movie, they made it very sleek and truly made it look like Jeff Goldblum. Both of them give off the imposing feel that is needed when it comes to creating the wizard mask. Okay. We cannot talk about defying gravity when it comes to Wicked. It is the iconic moment. I love they recreated that look that the stage production has with the cape. It gives that look of all the drapery they use when they fly Elphaba on stage. For those of you who don't know, basically the actor playing Elphaba on stage is loaded into a cherry picker by stepping backwards into it. It clips around her waist and then that lifts her up into the air. To hide all the mechanisms for it, they use a bunch of drapery. In the movie, to recreate this look, they have this long extending cape that Elphaba is wearing when she flies off. One advantage of being a movie is that you have more liberties in certain areas than you do on stage. The stage can be restrictive when it comes to sets, so I find it absolutely amazing that the creative team behind the Wicked movie decided to make the majority of the sets practical. They're real. They're tangible. I know I'm probably rehearsing a lot of what I said in the recent video about Agatha All Along, but there's a certain joy in a production when they use a practical set over CGI and blue screens. Honestly, I love them more when they're practical sets. I love seeing all the aspects of the stage show being incorporated into this new version of Oz, and the subtle hints of steampunk aesthetics hidden throughout the world that they've made. I'm here for it. This version of Oz is not one we've gotten a chance to see before. People are going to be angry when things aren't recreation in the way that they would want them to have a recreation. But you can tell from behind the scenes videos that a lot of love was put into the creation of this movie. And that at least should be showing in how long it took for it in production. I hope that people give it a chance now that early reviews are starting to trickle out, and that in the future we get more adaptations where they truly do care about the source material that they're talking about. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for listening. And if this video is up your alley, feel free to drop a subscription. I've got another video coming out maybe about a week, if not less. So thank you so much for listening, and who knows, might defy some gravity soon. See you then.